Alright, in this lesson we're going to talk about primary triads in major keys. Now, in the previous lesson we talked about what a triad is. You know that a triad is a grouping of three notes with a root note, a note that's built a third above, and a note that's built a fifth above. And we also talked about the tonic triads, triads that are built on the first note of that scale, or the bottom note in that key signature. Today we're going to talk about two other kinds of triads as well, triads that are built on other notes in the scale. So triads built on the first note, the tonic, like you know already, the fourth note, and the fifth note of the scale. These are called the subdominant and dominant notes, respectively, of the scale are called the primary triads, as these are the most useful and commonly used chords. If this word subdominant and dominant don't look quite familiar, have a quick flip back to pages, I think it was 33, 34, where we talked about the technical names of the notes in the scale. All right, have a quick little read through that, and that'll refresh your memory. It's not a big deal right now, but essentially the tonic you know is the first note of the scale. The dominant is the fifth note of the scale, and the subdominant is back one step, it's the fourth note. All right? So, building triads on the first, fourth, and fifth notes of the scale. So, as you know, the chords built on the first degree of the scale is called a tonic triad. We talked about that already. The chord built on the fifth degree of the scale is called the dominant triad. In this example here, in C major, G is the dominant note, and so the triad built on the dominant note is a dominant triad. And the chord built on the fourth degree of the scale is the subdominant triad. Okay, the triad built on the fourth scale degree. Now, as we talked about briefly in the last lesson, you can see the labeling, how we label these triads. Here's the tonic triad. So we put a number 1 because it's a triad built on the first note of the scale, or a C chord. The chord built on the fourth note of the scale, we put a Roman numeral 4, or an F chord. And in the key of C major, the triad built on the dominant is a 5 chord, and we put a letter uppercase G because this is a triad built on the note G. Okay, so knowing that information, you should be able to complete the rest of this worksheet. The next little exercise asks you to write the scale of F major, build the three primary triads on the first, fourth, and fifth degrees, and label the chords with both chord symbols above the notes and Roman numerals below. So essentially what you're doing is taking this example in C major and recreating it exactly for the key of F major. That's all you need to do, is do the same thing for F major. And then at the bottom here, write the key signature and the three primary triads of all the major keys below, labeling them with the chord symbols above and the Roman numerals below. The first one's been done for you. Notice how for G major, we put the proper key signature. We write a triad built on the tonic, a triad built on the fourth note of the scale, and a triad built on the fifth note of the scale. The Roman numerals are 1, 4, and 5 because we're on those scale degrees. The letter names, however, are unique to this key signature because G is 1 in the key of G, C is 4 in the key of G, and D is the fifth scale degree in the key of G. So what will change in all these examples is the key signature, of course. You need the proper key signature for the key you're in. And your starting notes are going to change because in the key of A major, for example, A is your tonic. In the key of E flat major, E flat is your tonic. So your root notes are going to change, but the Roman numerals will be the same. You're going to put a 1, a 4 here, and a 5 there. A 1, 4, and a 5 chord. 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. So the 1, 4, and 5 will be the same all over the place. It's just the starting notes, the key signature, and the actual letter names above that will change. If getting your head around this stuff is a little bit funny, takes a little bit extra time, that's okay. We'll take this up in class. We'll spend some extra time if you need in class, just making sure this makes sense, because as we get into the next little bit after this unit, we're going to delve a little bit deeper into some harmony, and you really have to understand how notes and chords work together to create harmony. So let's spend a little extra time on these lessons here to really build a solid foundation. All right, please ask questions if you don't understand a certain concept or how something works. All right, take care, finish up this worksheet, and we'll see you next time.